In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about APA style headings. And as you can see in this chart, there are 5 levels of headings that are used in APA style. So students can sometimes be a little confused about when to use headings in their paper. And it's basically just a way to mark or divide your paper into sections and subsections. So depending on the style of paper you're writing, you might have specific sections of your paper, and within those sections you might further divide them into subsections. I would say in most cases a student's paper won't use more than 3 levels of headings. The other levels are maybe more for intense research with multiple major findings and sub-findings underneath of them. But I would, for now, just concentrate on the first 3 levels of headings and how we can use that in our essay writing. So here I have a paper that some students have written, and I'm going to format it in the correct way of APA style and use headings as a way to show the sections within the paper itself. So let's just start with a title page. Obviously this one doesn't have a title page yet, so we need to format it correctly in order to follow APA style. So in the newest edition of APA that came out in 2019, they got rid of the running head, so you don't, if you're writing a student paper, you don't need the running head. You do need to add a page number in the top right hand corner. So I'm just going to go into the document elements into the header, and then that way I can add a page number in the top right corner. So I'm just going to delete this info here and tab over and then add page. So we want it in the right hand corner, and we'll just put that. So 1 is up here, so we can close the header, and if you scroll down you'll notice all of the pages are marked. This one had a running head in it, so we're just going to erase that because we don't need that anymore. So that's one of the changes that was made in the newest edition of APA guidelines. Is there is now no running head for student papers. So on our title page, we're going to have our title, in this case, the advantages and disadvantages of animal testing. And we'll center that. So just select centered. It's also a level 1 heading, so we're going to bold it. And then underneath that, you're going to put your student name. So you want a two spaces, and then we want to double space our student info and put that centered. So you'll add your name here. So you'll write your name just as you normally would. So first name, last name, and then you can put your school or your affiliated institute, the class name, in this case English 100, your professor's name, if you're not sure how they like to abbreviate their name, or if they want doctor in front of it, you might ask them, and then the date that you're submitting the paper. I'm just going to put a little bit more space here. So it usually should be in the top third or so of your title page. And then we're just going to scroll down, remove any content from that title page. So that's basically our APA title page. for a student paper. In a more professional paper, you'd have a little bit of an author's acknowledgement at the bottom, but we don't need that. So now we're done our title page. I'm just going to copy this title because we're going to need it on our first page of the essay. So we'll put that back in. So you need to restate your title on page 2. And then this is all single space, so we want to make sure the whole thing here is double spaced. So I'll just select all and double space. Okay, it kind of changed that, so we'll just fix this. And then, okay, so we'll fix that. Okay, so now it's double spaced. We still want indents, so you can just push the tab button and it will indent your paragraph. You don't have to have an introduction header or heading. So in APA style, you don't need that. So you just need your research findings to be organized with headings. So this person has one heading here called Advantages of Animal Testing. But you might, depending on your what's called for in your paper, label this as research findings. Or if you had methods, if you had design of your methods or procedures, you could include sections for that, but this is just a research paper, so it's going to include research findings. So we'll add a title, Research Findings. So a level 1 heading, as we've seen here, it is bold, it's centered, and each of the major words is capitalized. So short words like and, of, those aren't major words in the title, so they don't get capitalized, but all other major words are capitalized. So we'll follow that with our research findings. And we'll center it, we'll bold it, and then we've see that we're putting capitals underneath of it. How I've learned it is that you should have content underneath each heading. So you might add something like, you know, at least describe what your research findings were about. So the following research findings compile the results of our group's research process, wherein we found a variety of articles in peer-reviewed journals. Okay, so we'll just save that for now. And then you want to make sure that you're tabbing in any new paragraph. And you might describe what comes next. So you could say the research has been divided into advantages and disadvantages of animal testing. Okay, so that's our research finding section. So we want to subdivide it. So we've created 2 major subsections under our research findings. We have advantages and disadvantages in this case. So here's another heading. So this isn't the same level as level 1 because it's under level 1. So it's a subsection of a level 1 heading or level 1 section. So this is going to be a level 2 heading. And if we look at level 2, it is left aligned, bold, and capitalized major words. And the text begins as a new indented paragraph. Okay, so let's follow that guideline. Okay, so we're gonna, it's already at the left, so we just need to bold it, and it's already capitalized with major words being capitalized, and it's bold. Okay, so in this part we need to see if we have any other sections. So yes, we do have a couple of other divisions. So animal testing has many benefits in today's society that would not have been possible without the experiments that have taken place. Okay, so we want to subsection this one further. So we could say including improved medical testing, and what's our other main point here? Ethical experimentation. Okay, so those are our two subsections that further divide under our level 2 heading now. So we want to even create a level 3 heading. So we're going to further divide this finding or this subsection into another subsection. So in this case, we're going to go with level 3, which is left aligned, bold, italic, and capitalized major words. Text begins as a new indented paragraph. Okay, so left aligned, bold, and italic. Okay, so we're already left aligned here, so we need to bold and italicize our section, subsection, and then we indent the paragraph by pushing tab. So now we have a level 1. So I'll just remind you, level 1. Then we subdivided it into level 2. And then we moved on to, level 3. So level 3 can go on for however long that is. And then we have another subsection called ethical experimentation. So we have to decide, is this one also a level 3, or is it at the same level as the advantages of animal testing? So if we've divided advantages and disadvantages as equal in weight in terms of our argument, then these points should be under the advantages. So this one is again logically a level 3. So we capitalize the major words and italicize it and bold it so it matches our other level 3 heading, and then we indent the paragraph as so. So it's also a level 3. Okay, and then that's our level 3 paragraph. Okay, and then this person is moving on now to disadvantages. So this is a new section. So it's going to be at the same level as our advantages because they are in equal weight in terms of our argument. So it's left aligned, major words are capitalized, and that's all we need to do for that one. So this one has, let's see, 1, 2, 3 different subpoints in it. So it all depends on how you're organizing your research findings or how many findings you are including. So there are many disputes against animal touching, blah, 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 unreliable and dangerous, in regards to lack of consent, unreliable results, and viable alternatives. So it's a good idea to always like signal post to your reader what your main points are going to be, so they have a clear idea that you're outlining the major points. So here's our first subsection under disadvantages, and oh, we should indent this paragraph here. Okay, so we should divide this as a level 3, so bold, italicized, and we need to capitalize any words that are major, and then indent the paragraph. So that's one word, or one section, and then there's another section. So this one is also a level 3. So we need to make sure it's all capitalized properly, indent the paragraph, and then that's another section done. And then your third point already has the correct capitalization, so I just need to make that there. So yeah, we have level 2, level 3, and another level 3. Okay, and then discussion is our next section, and it's again a major section of the paper, the same as if we were doing a research findings or methods section. A discussion section is a major one, so it's going to be centered on the page, so it's back to an L1. So you use the L1s when you have a major section divide, and we need to center this one like so, and this is indented. So this person has a very short discussion, and then they have their conclusion. So there's no double spacing between paragraphs. You're basically all lined up here as double spaced everything. And then you could have your conclusion there. And that's basically all we need. So conclusion paragraph comes at the end, and then where our references are, just need to move these up. So our references section will also be a level 1. And conclusion was level 1. And so that's basically it, right? So we've gotten three levels of headings. If you further divided it, so say under ethical experimentation you had a case example or something like that, a specific example you wanted to highlight as its own subsection. Let's just pretend we have that here. Then we would use a level 4 heading. So a level 4 heading is indented, bold, and capitalized major words. There's also a period before the text starts. So after a period, text begins on the same line and continues. Okay, so if we wanted to add a level 4 heading, we'll pretend this is like a case study or a specific example. So we have to indent it, bold it, and italicize it. Or was it not italicized? Okay, so no italics for level 4, but it is capitalized, bolded, indented, and there's a period, and then your paragraph comes directly on the same line as it. So it would be a subsection of your L3. And then if there was even further divisions under your case study, then you could use a level 5. But for the most part, you are usually just using level 1 headings for sure, and they are centered, bold, and the major words are capitalized. So you're going to divide your paper into sections based on, if it's a research paper, you'll have an introduction. If it's an experimental paper, you'll have a method section. But if it's a research paper, you'll have a research findings section. You'll have a discussion section and a conclusion. But how you further divide your sections by L2s will be up to you. So that really depends on how you're organizing your information in the paper. Is it pros and cons? Is it cause and effect? Is it problem and solution? So that basically depends on how you're arranging the argument of your paper. But it's a good idea to sort of think about your argument in those terms. Try to find a logical connection between ideas, whether it's advantages and disadvantages, or pros and cons, or problem and solution, cause and effect, those kind of relationships between arguments. And then you can use your L2s in that regard to divide your research in parts or sections. And then if you're going to use L3 headings, it's within those larger sections that you've divided your argument. And that could be divided by, specific articles that you read that you want to include, or it could be a specific case study or experiment that you looked at, and you're basically summarizing the information like that. And you're going to use L1 headings throughout for major sections. This one is again L1. And then your reference page is also an L1 heading. Everything's double spaced. And that's basically all you need to do for headings. So it really just depends on how you want to organize your argument in the most effective way possible.